Alimera. Welcome to our online viewers as well. In the epistle lesson today, it's actually really appropriate for this time from St. Paul's letter to the Romans. The basic gist of the thing can be summarized in 4 words. We are the Lord's. We are the Lord's. So the lesson that we heard from Charlie a minute ago, he who also eats in honor of the Lord. He who abstains does so in honor of the Lord. If we live to the Lord. If we die, we should die to the Lord. No one should live for themselves, but rather for the Lord. For we are the Lord's. So we are in a time, obviously, of some frustration. Every day someone expresses frustration that this period that we're in seems to drag on and on and on. And if we kept this epistle from the Romans in mind, let today be to the Lord. If today you're working, work for the Lord. If today you're staying home quarantined, do that for the Lord. Whatever we're doing, do it for the Lord. However we're living, to live for the Lord. And this is what our judgment is going to be based on. How do we live for Him? Again, a very simple lesson from the epistle to the Romans. The gospel lesson, according to St. Matthew, talks about the blessing of 7 loaves and a few fish, and the feeding of 4,000 people. Just last Sunday, we read the gospel from Matthew chapter 14, only 1 chapter earlier. That was the blessing of 5 loaves feeding 5,000 people. So why the apparent redundancy of miracles? And very interesting, if this just happened in Matthew 14, how could the disciples, 1 chapter later, say, Lord, what are we supposed to do? You would think they would have just said, well, whatever we did last time, we'll just gather up whatever we have, and He'll offer it and bless it and multiply it. So this lesson is offered for several reasons. Number one, it reminds all of us that we kind of have a short attention span. And it's okay to ask the Lord the same questions over and over again, because we're going to get into the same situations over and over again. Secondly, and a historical fact, and the reason why they put things like the end of the gospel and sending away the crowds, He got into the boat and went to the region of Magadan. The reason why they put things like that in the gospel, it indicates which part of the country Jesus was in. Last week, that miracle was done primarily in a Jewish territory. That was the audience. This week, based on where Jesus was, this miracle took place in a Gentile territory to show to all the world, to the Jews, the chosen people, and to the Gentiles, the foreign people, that Jesus came for everyone and that He could work miracles for everyone. Hence, the 2 miracles. Like the miracle last week with the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, we see that a ginormous amount of people were fed. It says 4,000 men besides women and children. As I said last Sunday, if the average family has 3.24 people in it, this was not 4,000 people, but probably closer to 13,000 people that were fed. And not only were they fed, it says in the gospel they were satisfied, but in Greek the word is hortastisan, which means beyond satisfied. Like when you eat and you're full versus when you eat and you're uncomfortable because you've eaten too much. That's the kind of feeling that the people had. They ate so much they were all uncomfortable. Again, to magnify the greatness, the magnitude of this miracle. And from all this, 7 baskets of the broken pieces were taken up. And as I said last time, the baskets were not like the basket over there on the side, 7 small things. They were 7 baskets like the size of what a tomb, a coffin would be like back in those days, which was like the size of the Lord's tomb that we use on Good Friday. So imagine 7 of those things. So 13,000 people fed to overflowing, and the amount of food left over was like 7 large basins, 7 large coffins, so to speak, that was taken up. So the miracle was very, very, very good. Very, very, very big. And the lesson, of course, here is whatever we're offering to God, God can multiply that. Going again back to the epistle, when we live for God, when we offer to God, God can multiply whatever we offer. imagine if Jesus had said to the disciples, what do we have here? And the disciples said, we don't have anything here. But the disciples said, we have a meager amount, any amount. And so God can take that and he can make something with it. The lesson there is don't think that you don't have anything that you can offer to God. Offer to God whatever it is you have for him, in him, to serve him. And God can take that and can multiply that. Please stand.